as well as Brother Kevin Lyles, and then to Shira Simmons to come at this time.
I'm Uncle Irv's nephew, and a few weeks ago I asked if I could speak. Before I do, maybe 400 people here. But you know, my mind was just racing, and I thought that maybe the only way to quiet it would be to write something, and that proved to be pretty hard, as Uncle Chris said. So we're standing up here, and it feels like we're saying goodbye in some way, and I tried. Let's see. For maybe the first time in my life, I feel like I can see time in a circle. Time is supposed to be linear, moving from A to B to C and so on, never looking back. But the past few weeks felt different. It felt as if I were reliving every single moment with Uncle Irv, from the first years of my life to the last days of his, all at once. First, I was 20 years old, sitting in the private room of a steakhouse with our family on Mother's Day. Uncle Irv connected to the speakers, and he and I were going track for track. I wanted to impress the notorious DJ Irv, so I started cueing old stuff, James Brown, Donny Hathaway, Etta James. I thought he'd put on some of his own classic songs, but instead he played Use Somebody by Kings of Leon and Ordinary Day by Vanessa Carlton, and belted both of them out as if we were on stage at MSG. Then I was 13 in the basement at his house in New Jersey, trying to keep my cool as he screamed at me from across the ping pong table. We were matched up in the family tournament for a second year in a row. I was better than him, but he had a fighting chance in any game he played purely by virtue of his God-given talent for talking S-H-I-T. Then I was 16 in Atlanta on the set of his TV show, watching him direct his actors with the confidence of a veteran filmmaker, thinking that if he could do it, maybe I could too. Then I was younger again, 10 or 11, in the front seat of his Rolls Royce. He was driving me back to the city after a weekend in Jersey. On the road, he started telling me war stories from the height of the Murder Inc. days. After a brief pause in the story, he turned to me and said, "Your uncle's a bit of a gangster." 100 more of these replayed in my head. Maybe of his many superpowers, that was his greatest. That he was so loud, so passionate, so incendiary, so alive, that he gave us all the gift of time travel. I'm sure every one of us can recall the times we spent with him almost perfectly. The things he said, the clothes he wore many days on end, the laughs he gave us, the magic he made. The memories are so vivid they feel like they're still happening. We need only think back and we can be with him again. I'm thankful for that. I came across a quote recently from one of Uncle Irv's contemporaries in the music business, Rick Rubin, that read, "Art isn't in the tools, materials, equipment you use, it's in the way you see the world." Uncle Irv was an artist. He left a legacy in music that will outlast us all, but he showed me the artistry in the little things too. If you ever got to hear him tell a story, you felt you were watching an artist at work. Nothing existed outside the room you were in. He could command your attention like no one else. He had that burning desire to share what was in his head and heart with the world, and a work ethic to match it. As I got older, I started to see that version of him a little clearer, Uncle Irv the artist, but first I knew him as Uncle Irv the family man. He often said that nothing was more important to him than family, and he was true to his word. I saw him almost every weekend growing up. I used to take that for granted, but as I've gotten older and found myself busier and busier, I've come to understand that as the act of love it really was. He was at the height of his fame. He could have been anywhere in the world, but he chose to be home, flipping burgers, making sure his children, nieces, and nephews truly knew him. I'm thankful for that. Each time we gather as a family, we take the same sets of pictures. You see a lot of them. Everyone with Nene and Poppy, the individual nuclear families, just the 15 grandkids, just the original 8 kids, and so on. When I was younger, this felt like a chore. As I got older, I started to realize why we had to do that every time. It was proof of life. We're still here. Nene and Poppy raised 8 kids on a taxi driver's salary in the 1960s. 15 grandkids, several decades later, we're still here. Now we have enough photos to fill a small library. The day Uncle Irv passed, I scrolled through my mom's photo archives for 5 or 6 hours. I wanted to find every last photo of me and him. There were plenty of good ones, but I kept wishing there were more. And then I came across a photo of Nene and my paternal grandmother laughing and embracing at Nene's 80th birthday party. And looking at that one, I realized that Uncle Irv's fingerprint was on every single one of those pictures, even the ones he wasn't in. Because none of those things we look back on so fondly would have happened without him. I'm thankful for that too. My mom worked for Uncle Irv for more than 20 years. A couple nights ago I asked her if she'd written anything, and she shared a few things with me. I want to share just a sentence of what she wrote, which is a little similar to what Auntie Angie said. We all knew you were special, Irv, from the moment Mom brought you home from the hospital and let us all hold our new baby brother. He was indeed special. I think many of us are special, but in most cases we either don't have the gall to realize our potential, or the world beats it out of us first. Lucky for us, Uncle Irv let the entire world know how special he was. And he and Uncle Chris, they can speak from the heart, unlike anyone else. And I figured maybe I'd try to do that. But I'm not good at it, but it just doesn't. It still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. He was a fierce competitor, and he was a winner. From a small bedroom in Queens to the top of the world. He beat the federal government. Chris beat the federal government with the help of Jerry Lefcourt and Gerald Chargell, 98% conviction rate, and they beat that. Impossible. I walked through life knowing that there was this guy that was related to me who was just an example of what's possible, and I felt secure with that example. And I guess a few weeks ago, we just all thought this was one of the same impossible battles that he was going to win. And so it feels really strange being here now. And my heart breaks for my family. Breaks for all of his friends too, beautiful friends, but oh man, his kids, my cousins. He was our hero. My mom, she dedicated decades of her life to this man, and that's her baby brother, Uncle Chris. I look out on this crowd and I see a sea of Lorenzos, but it's only 2 guys, and words can't describe the bond you had, and we all know that. And Nene. Thanks. All I can really say, Nene, is thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for deciding that 7 kids wasn't enough. Look, this is a legend. This is a legend. Can we get you please? Thank you for letting us all get to know that man. Our lives are the better for it, and to Uncle Irv, man. Oh, there's a lot I didn't get to say to you in life, but I hope you know. We love you more than words can describe, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tyler, he's our youngest cousin. There's 15 of us, by the way. There's 8 kids, but we have 15 of us, and we took over one by one. Right, Nene's our girl. I wrote something. My uncle Irv, man, he's somebody who taught us all to be fearless. You know, he had a lot of really hard talks or funny talks with us about what it meant to be fearless. He was a fearless man. And he always would tell us, if you see the bear, save the bear. And I'm like, okay. Right? He's one of those type of guys, but I'm not gonna babble because I'll be here longer than Shaka. That's Uncle Chris. Everybody that was up here combined. So this is our superhero. My name is Ricky. I'm Irv's niece and goddaughter. And I like to call him Fuzzy because I call him Fuzzy and I call Chris Shaka because I called him Fuzzy because his hair is very fuzzy. He's an exceptional human being. And today I'd like to share my gratitude for something he shared with us all, which is his superpower. You know, I'm gonna go in and out of this. Growing up, it was my mom's house. My mom is Angie, by the way, the sister that's Aunt Deb's crib, Nini's apartment, all in Westchester. And it was 15 of us, and we would just, Uncle Chris and Uncle Irv, they made time for us. You know, we see them on the TV, we'll see them in magazines. We'll hear our parents telling us stories, Nini and Poppy telling us stories, because they know all of our dreams and everything. And we all grew up together, and we're all best friends to this day. So, his superpower. I'd say he had a couple, but today I wanted to talk about his power of making you believe. Whether you agreed with what he said or did, you believe it. Every word. You believed every word. He spoke with such conviction, animation, you know, the love, the passion. How couldn't you believe? You believe everything. Every memory, everything he's done for our family by being our superhero because of how he always protected us. If we ever need him, you know, he's going to protect us now too. He's always with us. So, to my cousins, who are also my godbrothers and sister, you guys know what's up. I've been talking to y'all. Me and Sonny are the same age, so, you know, that's my guy. We've been, yeah, okay. You know what's up. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm never going anywhere. To my Nina, my new roomie, we spend every night together. Ever since we've been going to the hospital. And she is her.
I welcome you guys back on here. If you're new, consider subscribing, liking, and also share this video. So Irv Gotti, you know, the funeral service, memorial, and celebration of life service has been held down. It has went down in New York City. That was on Wednesday, and the late music stars, industry friends have come out all to support his final send-off. Sources from a couple of online news sites, TMZ and others, have actually confirmed that the service was really befitting, very colorful, and it brought out the game's biggest stars alongside his family, and of course his mother Inc. artists, the likes of Ashanti, Lloyd, Charli Baltimore, Vitawere, and so many others. Jay-Z were all present, and of course Fanjo, Stoute, Hype Williams, Benny Boom, Angie Martinez, Ruff Ryders, and so many other artists. It was a ceremony that was really emotional, full of emotions, you know, a lot of eulogizing, a lot of speaking, and of course praying. The choir was really great, and it started off, you know, with the family coming out to speak, like you've seen in some of the videos I've posted. So the children started off, giving a very emotional speech, giving a proper send-off to their dad, commemorating and also pay tribute to his works. His role as a dad, as a father, was really out of this world, and of course they said they will always miss him. We also saw the family members. There was a sister who came out and also spoke and actually paid tribute to him. And of course, Jarol was some of the big names that spoken, and was captured choking up, delivering a passionate eulogy for his lifelong friend, while Hove looked on. And we've been told, and some of the reports are saying, that dry eyes were seen in the house when more stories began to flood in. The homegoing happened at the Greater Allen Cathedral of New York, and we are told the following procession, the procession followed, and so many friends and family gave him one last chance, one last round of applause. And of course, his Queens neighborhood also came in big numbers, stopping at the park where he honed his DJ skills as well as his childhood home. The legendary music star died on February 5th at the age of 54 after suffering from multiple strokes within a couple of weeks. His career impacted so many people, and of course, all we are saying is to continue praying for the family, friends, and everyone who was very close to the legend. Rest in power, the king. That is Irv Gotti.